What's up, guys? My name is Chaotic. Hope you guys are staying high, staying lifted. And I'm coming at you guys with a video about the time I made the strongest homemade edibles ever. And yes, they're very, very strong, man. So, yeah, let me get started in the video, man. Got some Resident Evil 7 gameplay. Because I never figured out how to beat the game. I never did it, so yeah, I was playing this again, so I threw in some gameplay of that. And yeah, man. So this video, this story takes place back in 2018, right before 2019, and the video about me stealing 2 pounds of weed. This is a product of that. So yeah, this is a funny story. So I used that weed to make edibles, right? So, we sifted through those pounds of weed and got the nugs out of there, right? So I weighed out the nugs and with my skill, put in little bags, and I remember making can of oil and just regular, how you make edibles, right? So yeah, so I made can of oil infused edible brownies, so they were double the potency you probably expect. So man, dude, you would get lit as a motherfucker. It was crazy. So I'm making these edibles, right? And I'm not really like measuring, like I'm not like keep track like to a T, like all of the measurements. So like I wanted to make sure this is gonna smack, right? So the first thing I do is decarb the weed, which is supposed to do decarboxylate it in the oven, and I did it at nighttime, just so it could be less like suspicious. And I remember actually what was funny. It still smelled like weed a lot, and I swear I remember someone saying something. Some girls saying something when they walked by. They're like it smells like weed. Like do you smell that? And like I swear I heard that. I was like, oh shit. But no one was tripping though. This is up in California, so everyone was pretty chill about it. Who knows if they're chill, but no one's really saying nothing. But I did it at nighttime. It was like around like 9 p.m. I think. But anyway, so I decarboxylated it for like I think an hour or two. I don't know how long it took. It was just it didn't take that long. I think you put like 250 degrees or something, maybe a little less than that. To decarb it. So I decarb it enough. I keep track of it, and it turns brown, which is what you really need it to turn into. Not too brown, not like dark brown, but you want to make sure that like it has a certain look when it's activated. So that's kind of how it looks when it's activated. So I take my decarbed weed, and I had like a whole little tray full of it, right? And yeah, so I just take that out, look it over, it's all good. And I start mixing that into the brownie mix, this is the fun part of this little experiment I did. So I put these things together with some butter and yeah. Oh, and that can of oil. So this is how I made that can of oil. I put it up on a stove, right? And I put it up with the weed. I think I pretty much did the same process. So I just took oil, mixed it together, and just mixed it together on the stove and cooked that shit into some can of oil, man. So I was getting ready to use it. But anyway, so I'm like, all right, man, this is lit. Hell yeah. Mixing can of oil into this fucking mix, right? So instead of putting regular oil like the brownie mix called for, I pour up the can of oil into the measuring cup. And I put that motherfucker up inside of that mix. And I'm just like, hell yeah. So it's up inside that mix. And I'm having a good time. I'm like tasting and everything. I'm like, damn, this tastes pretty good, without like it being baked yet. So I bake it. I eat the leftovers because it's already decarbed. So I get high as fuck, while making these edibles. And it was just so fun, man. I never made edibles like that again. Like, I never really get like enough weed to make edibles that much. So yeah, those were the times that you can make edibles. I remember making like 20 something fucking edibles out of this, or 25. It was crazy, like a crazy amount. I only sold a few of them, and most of them I ate, so I didn't make no money off of this shit. So it was kind of a waste because I built up such a tolerance so fast because it's so crazily potent that it was crazy. So, so yeah, I put everything up in the oven. Brownie set. I do the same time. It's normally set for 350 or whatever. I do like 15 minutes. I mean, not 15 minutes, no. But, I don't know on the top of my head how much time I had to put in it for. But, however long you put brownies in for. So, yeah, I'm waiting, for the timer to go off. And I'm sitting there high as fuck already. I already feel the effects of edible, man. I'm already pretty schmacked, And, yeah, the weed is finished at this point. Once I get it out, I'm like, damn, yep. Just looks like brownies, right? And the thing about these brownies, because it was so crazily potent, like they tasted like weed, like crazily, like pretty much the whole thing, like fucking smelled like weed and tasted like weed. And I love the taste of that stuff, so I didn't mind. So here comes the time to fucking try my little concoction. So I get ready to take an edible, and yeah, I take a fairly good sized one. I wasn't really expecting it to be this potent, so yeah, I eat that shit up. I'm like, damn, this tastes really good. So I use the fudge brownie like mix, and it was a lot better, and it was like the ones that had like the chocolate chips in it or something. So there's like bits of like chocolate. It was nice. Tasted really, really, really well, man. So 30 minutes passes after I eat that edible, and this is where the effects kick in. So and I was doing a lot of drugs around this stuff, like psychedelic, so it felt a lot like that. Like, it sent me into a little trip in my head, and I was like, holy shit, this is crazy, man. And basically after that, like literally after like it hitting me within 30 minutes, like 30 minutes later, like I like completely knock out. Like, it's so strong, and whatever is in it, like the cannabinoids and everything, it's just so crazily strong because it was homemade. Oh man, nothing beats that shit. But that's how I knew I made it very strong, because that shit fucked me up. I just could not, like, I just fell asleep on that shit. There's no, like, staying awake, even attempting to. There must have been a lot of, like, CBD and, like, man, just crazy amounts of THC, because I know when you do enough THC, man, it fucks you up. Like, it keeps you, like, it keeps you from keeps you from waking up. Like, it'll put you to sleep for a good while. And it feels good when you sleep on these edibles, man. So, I'm out there vibing, and then I wake up, like, you wake up in a few hours, man. I wake up with a crazy-ass hangover from these edibles. I'm like, holy shit. These edibles are like Xanax edibles. They, like, smack you so hard, like, you're out. Like, after taking it. And, I take another one the next, like, few days, and does the same thing and knocks me out, man. And honestly, I don't remember a lot about that time, because, man, dude, they were some fucking. They were the strongest edibles I've ever had. Like, the stronger than, like, you know, getting it at the dispensary edibles type shit. And, you know, probably rivaling that blackout brownie that I've done, you know? Like, just, it was crazy, man. The effects that it gave you. I was just so crazy high, and, like, it gave you that psychedelic kind of, like, high, you know? But instead of that, like, you're more likely to fall asleep on that high of a dose of THC just because, you know, the potency is just crazy. And looking back, I was like, yeah, maybe that can of oil was a little too much because whatever else was in there was already strong enough. It was just crazy potent, man. But hey, man, it was lit. Definitely worth the experience. And, you know, I remember, like, one time I sold it to someone else, and the same thing happened. They fucking fell asleep right away, too. So, yeah, there were some crazy strong edibles. It's definitely the strongest edibles ever, man. Strongest homemade ones. And, you know, yeah, if you're making homemade ones, yeah, if you ever want them to be way too strong, that's a good way to do it, you know. Because you're basically doubling up the potency by putting the cat oil and weed up in that bitch. So, yeah. Be careful if you ever choose to do that, because you never know what's going to happen, man, you know. And would I do it again? I would. Because with those edibles, those are the type of edibles you sell. You take in like fourths. You don't take the whole thing, even though it tastes good. Because that shit will fuck you up. But yeah, man, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We got the strongest homemade edibles ever, man. And yeah, smoke one up for your homie, man. So yeah, stay high, stay lifted, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.